Hello, welcome back to the Creative Differences podcast. I'm Dallas. I binged watched Swarm at 2 a.m. and I don't know if that's the best or worst way to do that.
No.
Probably the worst.
Yes.
I don't know. That might be the kind of vibe you need to watch that kind of
The
show.
witching hour? Absolutely not.
I have thoughts.
Absolutely not. That's inviting some darkness into your life. Hi, I'm Gabby, and I can't mentally watch two of the shows we're talking about today.
It's true.
And I'm Colin, and I think we should just know less about celebrities and other people in general.
And I'm Demi, and I thought that I was being slick today by dressing off theme, but then it turned out I am on theme because I'm wearing a tour shirt and an artist sweatshirt, so I'm still on theme. Welcome to another episode of the Creative Differences podcast, your one-stop shop for movie reviews, Fancast Fridays, Throwback Thursdays, and a number of other pop culture related items. Today, we will be discussing The Last of Us, Swarm, and SHAZAM, Fury of the Gods.
Yes.
One of these things is not like the others.
Yes.
It's going to get, I can't even say progressively less bleak because Swarm is just a different kind of bleak. But then we're going to end happy. It's going to be happy at the end. So,
Woo-woo.
Hooray. Yeah, before we get into it, please like, share, subscribe, hit everything, tell everyone, because then we can get our own toxic fan base and they will kill in our name and it will be glorious.
Will it?
I don't want that.
I don't want that.
Hey, guys. I want that. All right.
I'm not going to jail for it.
Exactly. We're not going to do any killing. We're fine. We big chilling.
Okay.
Anyway, Last of Us. Let's talk about it.
Woo, woo.
It is created by Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann. Craig Mazin created Chernobyl and writes for Mythic Quest. He also wrote The Hangover 2 and 3. So he has this
Range.
Yeah, he has this interesting, goofy to
Serious.
really depressing range. And I love that for him. Yeah. And Neil Druckmann is a co-creator of the Last of Us game that this is based on.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he also wrote both of them, both games.
I think
I know he wrote the first one.
Okay. That makes sense. It stars Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey and features Nico Parker, Gabriel Luna, Anna Torv, Nick Offerman, Storm Reed, and voices from the game including Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson, Merle Dandridge, Jeffrey Pierce, and probably some people I don't know. It's
Sounds
based on
about right.
right? Based on, like I said, the video game of the same name, which turned 10 this year. Surprise, surprise, happy birthday, zombies. And
They're not zombies. You can't say the Z word.
mushroom zombies. And
No, they couldn't say it on set. That wasn't allowed.
I'm not on set,
Who
nigga.
cares?
Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, that's something I've never understood. Anyway,
It's a little silly.
IMDb summary is after a global pandemic, not ours, destroys civilization and a hardened survivor takes charge of a 14-year-old girl who may be humanity's last hope. All right.
Yeah.
Gabby can't watch it.
I did see 3 episodes.
She did see 3
4.
episodes.
She did,
I
yeah.
watched 4 episodes.
Okay.
I actually was there when she watched one of the episodes too. One of my, actually probably my favorite episode of the season.
Which one is that?
The episode with Storm Reed.
That makes sense.
Oh,
That's right.
actually,
Left
then I
Behind is
watched
real
like
good.
5 episodes.
Gabby
Okay,
said
you
watched
watched
like
more
half
than
the show.
half.
I watched more than half the show,
Right.
but my partner
Left Behind is episode 7, I think.
Yeah, but she didn't watch
I
like all of them
didn't
in
watch
order.
6.
Oh, okay.
I watched 1 through 4, and then I didn't watch 5 because my partner was like, I was walking into the room and he was like, you cannot watch this. And I turned around and walked the other way.
Yeah. Ooh, the last episode, you would not.
Yeah.
You
And
would
I've seen like the opera version of the last episode because that like
The
clip
what?
was really famous. So when they were
Oh,
filming
you're talking
the
about
video game, the video game.
hospital bit. Oh,
Of the video game that was like
Mhm.
opera.
Yeah, that's
stuff.
delightful.
So she's watched about half the show, but she can't tolerate all of it.
No.
Dallas, what'd you think of the show?
I like it. I think it's great. I expected to think it was great, and I did. So, no surprise for me. Jimmy, initial thoughts?
This is one of those shows where I'm like, yeah, this is a really well-made show. It's really good. I can't tell you if I'm having a good time watching it. I don't think I am. But yeah, I like it. I'm having not fun. But
Having not
That's how
fun.
I felt except for Bill and Frank. That I was like, oh, it's so tender.
yeah, yeah. I'm not having fun, but it's a really good show.
It's so good.
Yeah, you're going to
But
suffer, but you're going to be happy about
I
it.
don't know if I'm happy about it.
That's fair.
Although
Probably
I did watch like the those people like to go online on YouTube and they put together like the movie version of like the video game where they just put all the cutscenes together
shouldn't.
so
Okay.
that you can watch the story. I did watch
Mhm.
that before actually watching the show.
Nice.
I think I saw the part where the plane comes down and I was like, this is stressful, but I want to know what happens. So I looked it up, and here we are.
And here we are.
Colin, what do you think of the show?
Gaming correspondent.
Yes, our gamer.
One of the funny things about The Last of Us, this show, is that because they hewed so closely to the game, I've had the same opinion for 10 years and it hasn't changed.
Fair.
The Last of Us it's a really cool story. I like what they do with the post-apocalypse. I think the ending is trash, and I'm not looking forward to what comes next because I honestly think that story is not as good. But we'll see.
We will see. I don't know anything about The Last of Us 2.
I'm excited to see everybody get angry about The Last of Us Part 2.
They're gonna be pissed.
I'm so excited.
I also know what happens.
I'm so excited.
Oh wait, I think I do know one thing.
I'm not.
I'm trying to think of
that you guys are
different ways to make the one joke that I've made, and I can't think of. You have to help me out with some puns. Anyway,
diving in deeper. Yes, the story it's a great story. This is episode 2 in a row where we have discussed stoic father figure adopts
Sad
surrogate
Dad
child.
has been in for a while.
Yeah, love Sad
Hot in the
Dad.
streets.
It is.
People love a sad dad.
And this is a really good version of that story. It's very well done. I think what I was very surprised by was how, and I think a lot of people are also very surprised by the lack of zombies in this show.
Yeah.
But also because there is a lack of zombies, in my opinion, that means that there is far more focus on the humanity within the story. And sometimes it's not. Yes, the show is a very bleak show. This is an apocalypse. People are dying. People have died. People are trying to survive. It's not going to be happy. But I do appreciate the fact that this show isn't like, let's just drive into this force of sadness. Let's also dig into why do people want to survive?
Right.
What is the goodness in humanity that we strive for in the midst of these hard times? There's love and there's friendship and there are relationships that we strive to keep and hold on to. And those are the purposes of living and wanting to live.
And that's the thing about the show for me is that I did feel that lack of zombies, and it frustrated me because I thought the game did not sacrifice any humanity with all the zombies it was throwing at you at the same time. And so I'm kind of hoping that in the future there are more zombies because that is kind of, I don't know, it just feels like that is a huge part of the world. And I wish that they had shown it a bit more in the show.
Fair. I'm wondering if part of it was just like production limitations because of COVID. Like the more people you have on set, the more restrictive. So maybe that's why they also like limited zombies.
For me, it's also not just the number, but how they were used. Like the bloater is a boss fight in the game. You got to prepare for that. You got to be ready for that. And here it was like, he's a guy, he'll kill some people, and then we don't see him anymore. And it was like, oh, okay.
Which one was that one? Did I see that episode?
You might not have watched that episode.
Did you see the Henry and Sam episode? Is that the one that you couldn't watch?
That's the one I was not allowed to watch.
Yeah.
At the end of that one.
Cool, yeah.
Got it.
No, she would not be allowed to watch that one.
No, it's not. I had to hold my baby after.
With the way Henry's story ends, no, she can't watch that episode.
That episode is so good. That is.
I mean, all of these episodes
TV.
are so good.
Yeah.
Like even from Jump, the first episode with Nico Parker, who is phenomenal.
Yo, oh my God, she's good. And like
minutes
the choice to follow her for so much of that. Was such a good choice.
Yes, because she's only in like
because I knew, right? Because I knew what was going to happen, and I was like, oh my God, why are we following Sarah? Stop following Sarah. This isn't going to go. Like, stop it. But it was such a good choice.
My partner said that like you start playing with Sarah,
but you don't see all the like, happy birthday, let me go get you a watch, all the happy shit.
Like he's like, I already knew what was going to happen.
Exactly.
And I was like, I got the vibes that she was not going to live through this. Like the moment she started doing sweet things for her dad, I was like, oh, she's going to die.
Whenever you see a happy family, you know, not everybody's going to make it.
Especially on a show this bleak. Like,
yeah, well, the thing was, this show became kind of like, I feel the same way about Swarm too. It became a bit of a thing where it was like, I know where this is going. This is going to end with some bad thing happening to somebody, and I don't want to see it happen because I want all these people to survive.
Yeah,
but I know what's going to happen.
We're going to come back to that with Swarm because it got to a certain point where I was like, I was like making a hit list in my head. Yes. Like, oh, that one. Yep. That one. Oof. Like, oof.
I think I told you guys a while back, probably maybe like a year ago, that somebody was talking about Ozark and they like found the cast list and then crossed out everyone who played a character who died, and like the way that list looked was crazy. And for both The Last of Us and Swarm, the tagline for these shows could be "Niggas die every day, B."
That and Poker Face, which is a very different
Do
show.
not get attached to anybody.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Do not get attacked.
But the cast is phenomenal, which
so
you can anticipate that off the jump. I mean, Pedro Pascal has become just a favorite amongst everybody.
Yep. It's his moment.
Bella Ramsey was a fan favorite on Game of Thrones immediately.
Yes. And I didn't watch that, so I got to actually watch her for I guess the first time for me.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen her in anything.
We all fell in love with her on Game of Thrones for the same reason that people fall in love with her as
She's
Ellie
so
here.
good.
You should see her. Just the scene where they come in, like her introduction to Game of Thrones. You can get what it is the moment you walk in. She's so little.
She's so tiny.
So in control. It's, so talented.
She's so tiny.
So talented.
Also, one of my favorite things about Bella Ramsey is that, and I didn't realize this until I was watching the show, she does look so much like Ashley Johnson, who originated the character of Ellie, that it was like insane. I was like, she doesn't look like the character Ellie. She looks like Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie.
Okay.
But yeah, they're both phenomenal. They're great.
Yeah. The half of the show that I watched was really, really good. Again, I'm not in an emotional place where I can see too much trauma and sadness and dark stuff and have it not bleed into how I'm actually feeling.
Give me all the trauma.
I think all the guest stars are really good too. Like one that you didn't mention was Rutina Wesley, who plays Tommy's wife.
Maria.
I love her.
Yes, Maria. I love her from other things.
Yeah,
the
True Blood.
dude who played David
And Queen Sugar.
He was really good.
Oh yeah, he was
Terrifying.
He was so good that I was like, I don't understand how actors take on roles like these, because
that's the thing.
Wait, David, it was the cannibal?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
And that was one of those things where it's like, I knew how this was going to go. And so I knew that he could be introduced as this nice dude and that it wasn't going to carry through. But he played it so well.
Yeah. He caught me off guard.
And he also just like, the choice of that dude was not an intimidating dude.
Yeah.
Like, look at him. He's just a guy. I'm just a pastor. But then like, oh, you're terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was really good. And I also knew where that was going because of our fan cast that we did.
Yes.
Where, side note, my Tommy made the show. Yay!
Hey.
That's so true, and he did a fantastic job.
He really did.
He'll be even better in part 2, where he has a bigger role, from what I
I'm
understand.
glad we're going to see him more.
Ooh.
But David, when we did the fan cast, I had to look up who that character was, and I was like, oh no. So then when I saw this guy and then saw the way he was acting before, I was like, wow, he's really good at acting like a character who was acting like someone else. And that's always impressive to me. I was like, ooh, this guy's killing it. Shout out to the actor whose name
That's true. I actually don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know that
I'm
man
like, I have
either.
no idea who that man is.
Sorry to that man.
I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
Sorry to that man whose name is Scott Shepherd.
He's really good.
His face looks familiar, but I don't know where I know him from.
Yes.
So it's
Storm Reed, also another excellent guest star on the show. I love Storm Reed, and
me.
I think that episode really stuck with me because I didn't watch the DLC that is.
Okay.
So every other part of the show, I knew what was happening and I knew what was coming because I had seen the game, but I didn't see that part. So that was the only episode where I was like, I don't know where the story is going, but now I'm emotionally attached and I know you're going to do something bad and I don't want you to.
Yeah. That one I didn't know, but I knew.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I'm watching the show. I know what kind of story this is.
Yeah.
I know what's going to happen.
It's like, I know, but I don't know.
Right.
I was like bracing myself that entire episode. I was like, I mean, Demi was there.
I was there the whole time.
Like,
And I had already seen the episode by that point. So also, I really do appreciate that because this is a game adaptation that they do, like you mentioned, they bring in a lot of the voice actors from the, mocap actors as well. They do a lot of mocap for that game. They brought them in to do this show. So like you mentioned Merle Dandridge, who comes, she's the only one who is playing the same character that she played from the video game.
which is wild to me that they like, I love that consistency, but
yeah, it was cool.
They were just like, we got to bring you back for this.
Yeah, she's that good.
She's extremely good playing that character again, probably getting to give a lot more depth and layers to that character. Troy Baker coming in as David's kind of right-hand man for that episode. The actor who plays Tommy, who I cannot think of his name right now.
Jeffrey Pierce?
Yes. I think that is his name. Playing, why can I not think of her name? Playing the Karens.
PTA lady.
Yeah, playing the Karen's right hand man.
Kathleen.
Yes, Kathleen, playing Kathleen's right hand man. And then having Ashley Johnson come in and play Ellie's actual mother, which
great.
is
Aww.
very layered.
That's really cool.
And even having a cameo from Laura Bailey in the final episode, which in and of itself is a layered cameo. But I can't say who and I can't say what. It would be a spoiler for part 2.
Is now that exists, I kind of want her to play the same role because it wouldn't make sense timeline wise, given
you want her to come in and play Abby again.
Maybe, but it wouldn't make sense. Abby, I think, would be too young, and she wouldn't have been. There's a lot you'd have to rearrange for that to work. I just think it'd be funny.
I am happy though because her face is mostly obscured in this cameo, so I'm like, she could just come back and play an actual role next season too. Like, don't restrict yourselves. She's fantastic. But yeah, I was really happy to see her pop up because I did not know that was going to happen. And that was one of the few cameos I actually really, really wanted, but I didn't think it would happen in season 1. I just kind of assumed it would be season 2.
That makes sense.
But yeah, this show is very well done. The clickers look good.
Yeah, horrifying. I do not like it. I like it, but I don't like it.
When the person's like so infected that they're just like rooted to a wall, that was horrifying.
That's
to me.
a lot.
I hated that. I was like, oh no.
At least those ones, though, I'm like, I don't think you're coming to get me. It's the ones that move that really get me.
For when they do, that's the problem.
Nope, don't.
Like, I'm just saying, in one of the episodes, we see one that's in a wall and it's like, oh, it's fine. And then it gets up and it's running around and it does some bullshit.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. If it's stuck to the wall and it doesn't move, I'm like, you're cool. Stay over there.
Yo, like there's a scene where like Ellie gets real close to one in the wall and I'm like, Ellie, you need to stop. You need to stop. You need to stop. Like, ooh, that was... Like poking that shit, like
she's an interesting kid.
Oof. I mean, she'd never been outside before.
She's a sheltered kid.
Like she just doesn't.
Right,
know.
but I mean, like I think what's about that is like, girl, you know that this is the thing you're supposed to be afraid of, and you're over here gonna poke it with a knife.
I think it works for her because she also has the sensation of I'm not gonna die. This isn't going to kill me. I am immune. Therefore, if I get close to you, this doesn't matter.
That's the thing. Is that she isn't, because that's what Tess says to her is like, nah, they tear you limb from limb, you still dead.
Right, you're not immune to getting torn apart.
That's true.
Yeah, but the one that we're talking about is the one that's stuck to a wall, so yeah, she's like...
So what could it do except for bite her and infect her, but that's not going to matter.
Yeah, she's already been bitten. I don't care. What you gonna do to me? She's afraid of the bloater. She ain't afraid of she ain't...
She's afraid of that little flippy girl that was jumping in
the car. she shows fear for the ones that she knows can get her, but the ones that can't, what are you gonna do?
I don't think the weirdest thing about her is her lack of fear in that situation.
What's the weirdest thing about her?
Just like
the puns.
There's so many. There's scenes like Craig Mazin had to go on his podcast and tell everyone, "Hey, Ellie's not a psychopath because of the way she reacts to certain things and the way that her reactions to certain types of like violence are very unexpected. Which, when you're raised in that kind of world, raised by fascist question mark,
yeah, by a government entity of some sort that is training her to protect a city.
It stands to reason you'd have a different perspective on like certain things.
Yeah, because even Riley's reaction, just the idea of Riley having to be violent. Riley has the same sort of thought process. She keeps a gun on her hip.
Yeah.
And she's ready to use it, which I was like, I don't know why you're giving a 14-year-old a gun, but fine, if that's what you guys want to do.
You gotta keep that thing on you, Demi. You're in the apocalypse.
I don't know, Fireflies. I still think it's irresponsible for you to hand a 14-year-old a gun.
Not in the apocalypse. Not when she's about to part of it, I think, is because she's about to travel from one city to another, right? So she
I have thoughts.
Yeah.
You're responsible until it just so happens that, oh man, you're being choked to death and somebody needs to get this guy off of you. And then it's like, hey, real nice that the 14-year-old had a gun.
I feel like...
Or like if you're on a horse and you need to shoot some people.
I think my issue is you gave the 14-year-old a gun, but I don't think you gave her gun safety lessons. So
fair.
Yeah.
I think you just handed it to her and said, here you go. If something comes to get you, just point and shoot.
Point and shoot.
I'm like, where's the safety?
Like safety? Bill Burr said one of his stand-ups, he was talking about a dude from the South who was trying to sell him a shotgun.
Oh, God.
He was like, here's how it works. You got a problem over here? Point the gun over here. You ain't got no problem over there no more.
That is how they trained Riley. They said, here you go.
Exactly.
Fair.
And that's my concern. You want to give her a gun, fine, but at least teach her how to use it first. But Dallas is making a good point. These kids aren't psychopaths. They're raised in a world where violence is something they must be taught from an early age, or else they'll die.
Yeah.
But speaking of violence, I like the way this show portrays violence as sad,
Yes.
not fun.
Yeah.
For the most part. As an American who grew up watching action shows and movies, I was still hyped on the last episode when Joel Wick showed up.
Joel
Yo,
Wick.
that
But the show
sequence
isn't presenting it like this is fun. It doesn't feel like we're watching John Wick.
Oh,
like
no.
the music isn't like dum, 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 dum.
It's sad.
It's sad. Like he looks sad. Everything about this is sad.
When he was fighting those cannibals and you saw a glimpse of Joe Wick.
Oh, that was super dope.
I also think that they are teeing up for part 2.
Mhm.
For season 2, and definitely setting up and foreshadowing.
I wonder how close to the game they're going to keep.
They said that they're going to stay pretty close to part 2.
Got it.
But yeah, because that scene is supposed to show you that Joel is not the hero that you think he is.
Mm.
Yes, he is saving this young girl, but the way that he goes about it isn't heroic.
Yeah, the thing, like, that scene, I thought it worked, but it took me out a little bit because ain't no one got a shot on him. Like, in the game, you can take as many shots as you take, and then you just, like, hide behind a pillar and you somehow magically heal yourself.
Mhm.
It's like, that's fine. I kind of wish there had been a little bit more opposition.
Which is the tough thing. One of the tough things about adapting video games, because
Right.
in video games, like we watched the Sam and Henry one with the sniper.
Right.
Jesse was here and he was talking about playing that part and how he said the most unrealistic part is that he didn't get shot a bunch of times because that scene is very hard.
Right.
But in a game, yeah, you can get shot. Like you said, take some hits, hide.
Mhm.
You can't do that in the show because we're going to be thinking
Right, like as
Why
soon
is he
as
not
one
dead?
gets a shot on him, he's going to drop and
Exactly.
it's not going to work.
getting shot in the show doesn't work the same way as getting shot in the game. But yeah, that's just kind of the nature of the medium.
Yeah.
Although Joel was getting worked a lot in this season. And that's the thing about that for me. It's like, oh, now you're the Terminator. Because little boy got the drop on you and Ellie had to come save you earlier. So like, but also they took my new daughter. I'm now motivated in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
I'm Wolverine.
And now I'm Wolverine. Yeah. He's like, now I'm John Wick.
Which I get the whole, he's not the hero that you think he is. For me, he is. Because even as someone who really, really doesn't want kids, if I was in a situation where someone took one of my nieces or my nephew, everyone who knows about it is dying.
Does this lead us to Colin's soapbox, which he's going to somehow have to do without spoiling the end of the show?
Yeah, that's an interesting.
I can figure that out. So, soapbox. Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of the talk about the end of the show ends up being, is what Joel did right or not right? Did he make the right choice? And for me, my problem with the ending has always been, and they actually addressed it in the show, which is funny, that it wasn't Joel's choice to make what he did, and the person whose choice it was never got asked.
Mhm.
And I've thought about how to rewrite that ending in my head to a way that that person gets asked and then everything still happens exactly as it does. But to me, just that simple fact of you put a lot of this on one person and then when it came down to it, you didn't ask that person what they wanted. That's the only reason I hate the ending is because I think they should have asked the person what they wanted.
And the funny thing is, I remember watching the cutscenes for the game and having a very similar reaction and feeling like, that's interesting. All right, cool. And then I remember talking to Colin about it and I was like, oh, we're on the same wavelength. You just hate it so much more than I do. I was like, I think it makes it, I was like, it's an interesting choice to make narratively.
I think it is an interesting, like I know why they made that choice and I respect it.
Yeah.
To me, I think it kind of goes against what the show had been doing, which is, the show had been showing in a lot of ways that you have to adapt to this world and you have to make hard choices and you have to look after yourself and all that shit. And then I felt like in this last moment, when it matters the most, that's when you take this character's agency away. That felt like, you're missing the point. The point was that you were building up this character's agency. So you should have respected it.
But I think that might be why they made that. I think that's why they make the choice to give Ellie so much agency throughout the season. Because then when we finally get to the point where you're questioning that, it's like, she has all the agency in the world. We see that she knows how to make her own choices. So why doesn't she get to make this one? And I think that just adds to that question of whether or not what Joel does is the right thing or the wrong thing.
Right.
And it's funny, we'll come back to this in like a year or two, and when everybody's mad, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm chilling. To me, ultimately, yeah, I recognize that giving her the choice wouldn't matter. Right. Because what would happen would happen. It just upsets me that she wasn't given the choice.
Okay.
But yeah, we need to move on to the next thing.
Oh yeah, we have been talking about this for like half an hour.
Yes, so yes, The Last of Us is a very good show if you can handle a bleak look at the joys of humanity.
Yeah, it's really intense.
Then maybe this is the show for you.
Yeah. Good luck.
Only about half the show was the show for me.
The happier parts.
Yeah, the more it's bittersweet. Let's
Basically,
be honest.
the first half of every episode.
Yeah. Everything's bittersweet on this show. It's especially bitter at the end. So take it with a grain of salt.
That is a good good descriptor of the show. It is bittersweet. It'll give you all this sweet stuff, but also you got to take the good with the bad.
You need like some medicine with your sugar is what they give you at the end.
Yeah. All right, for more murder and
wow.
All right,
let's
Swarm.
transition.
Tell us about Swarm, Dallas.
Character who might have a body count as high as Joel's.
Nah, nobody has that body count. Maybe John
She's working her way up, though. She's working her way to it.
Swarm.
There's a time gap in the show, so maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
She's gonna be getting busy. Swarm, created by Donald Glover and Janine Neighbors. You know who Donald Glover is. Janine Neighbors is a writer for Atlanta and a producer for Atlanta and Watchmen. Both great shows.
Nice.
We love to see it. Stars Dominique Fishback and features Chloe Bailey, Damson Idris, Rory Culkin, Paris Jackson, Billie Eilish, Kiersey Clemens, Cree Summer. Lots of people.
Billie Eilish, isn't it?
Billie Eilish is in it.
Yo.
Oh my god.
She's good.
She's
so good.
But also, when she popped up on the show, I went, that looks like Billie. Is that Billie Eilish? I had to go look it up.
Summary. In the most basic way you can describe it, a young woman's obsession with a pop star takes a dark turn.
Oh.
Alternate summary, sometimes Beyonce fans are insane.
Wow.
Hey, that's not nice. I'm a Beyonce fan.
You're not one of these.
You're not one of those.
Yeah, I'm not one of those.
But yeah, initial thoughts. I don't know. I really.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I like this show. And I don't know if I'll ever know if I like this show because I'm afraid to watch it again.
Yep.
To me, what about you?
Oh, goodness.
I think this show is a fantastic show that I also don't know if I'll ever be able to watch again. But I think it's a great show. I think they've put together something that is extremely interesting and definitely stayed with me through last night because I had such a hard time sleeping.
Oh my god.
Had to think of other things that I had watched later on in the day so I could try and get to sleep again.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll go into further. Colin, what'd you think?
Yo. The thing is, for most of the show, I was enjoying it. And then there was something, that last episode, that was the breaking point where I was like, I can't. I watched the whole thing. Okay. I will never touch it again. Like, you tell me Swarm Season 2 is coming out. I'm telling you, get fucked. I'm not touching that.
That's so interesting.
I'll watch Season 2. I don't know if I can rewatch Season 1.
I think this is the second Amazon show that's happened for Colin because wasn't the Hunters like that for you? They did something at the end. You're like, nope.
Yep. That was different though, because Hunters, I thought what they did was stupid, whereas this was just like, it was too much.
Got you. Whew. Yeah, let's get into it. First things first. I am not certain about a lot of regarding the show, but I am certain that Dominique Fishback needs awards. She was fantastic.
She was acting.
And I said when we talked about the trailer, that laugh that she does, when they say, what you got in there, a dead body or something? I saw her do that laugh and I said, she's going to go on my actors list this year.
Yep.
And I was not wrong.
She's extraordinarily good on this show.
Yeah.
Which is why it was always weird. Because me and Colin were watching it at the same time. So it was always weird for me to bring up other actors because I was like, but Dominique Fishback is doing so good. But like also all these other actors are also doing a really, really good job as well.
Yeah.
She's the consistency.
Yes.
And she is consistently good.
Yeah.
No matter what the episode is. And no matter what they're asking her to do. To the point where even when episode 1 is starting, I'm like, oh, baby girl, just get a therapist. What's wrong? Like, we gotta, before things even get weird, I was like, oh, you need to talk to somebody.
And things did not take a long time to get weird. 2 minutes in. So let's talk about.
No. Because when I say get weird, I meant like, oh, I know the show is going to start murdering people. That type of weird.
Okay, got you.
The earlier forms of weird are just, I wouldn't do this in my daily life, but all right.
Yeah. This feels like an A24 show. Like, it's very dark. It's weird as hell. And I don't know if I like it or not. That's just how I feel when I watch a lot of A24
No,
stuff.
I got to tell you something. I was watching this show and I was like, this still feels like Atlanta. Just a horror show.
Just like the dark episodes of Atlanta.
Yes.
It's the darkest part of Atlanta.
It's interesting to me because I feel like Swarm felt like, honestly, a little bit more straightforward.
It is
like
more
Atlanta?
straightforward.
Yeah.
But I meant the tone of the show, the way that it makes its jokes, the way that it goes into the darker parts of the show, the way that it even looks. I was like, it still feels like Atlanta, but it's just a straightforward narrative of what we're doing.
Yeah, and they even do certain things in a similar way, like episode 6,
Yep.
the one that just becomes a true crime episode, which is
when that episode started, I was like, why are we doing the goofy thing again?
I was like, okay, Donna really liked that because he's doing it again.
I'll watch episode 6.
You can do episode 6.
Okay.
You can definitely do episode 6 because
everything outside of it you can't do.
You listen to true crime stuff.
I do.
And this is like that, but in the way that Atlanta would do like a parody of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny, but it's so good because we still get information that we've been missing about Dre.
Well, because the show is mostly from Dre's perspective.
Right.
And episode 6 allows us to expand our views and our horizon as to what's going on outside of what Dre's doing.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Because for certain, as the show was going on, I was like, ain't nobody noticing all these random murders happening?
Right.
Nobody?
So it shows like the evil version of Atlanta. But also, I think we talked before, this is like the evil poker face.
Yeah, because I sent it to the group chat, the poker face, handshake, Swarm, a murder every episode.
It's really the evil poker face because
Oh my God.
Dre is like the anti Charlie Cale. Charlie goes around. She always knows when someone's lying. Everywhere she goes, someone dies, and then she tries to solve it. Dre's
the murderer she's trying
lying.
to catch.
Everywhere she goes, someone dies, and she's hoping they don't solve it. And it's very different. But like we were talking about, the humor in it.
Yo, this show was so much funnier than I thought it was going to be.
When the girl Haley,
played by Paris Jackson, which makes it even funnier.
Here's the thing about that for me. I didn't know that was Paris Jackson.
I didn't either.
So
I forgot that she was on the show.
For those who don't know, Paris Jackson is Michael Jackson's daughter. She plays a stripper named Haley. White passing is an understatement. She looks 102% Caucasian in the show. And she's talking to Dre.
And in real life.
Right. And she's talking to Dre and she says, what'd she say? My last boyfriend, I had to leave him because he couldn't accept that I was black.
Yes.
And Dre and me both looked at her and said, "You're black?" And she said, "Yeah, my dad's half. That's why my stage name is Halsey."
Oh my God.
And that's such an Atlanta style joke.
But the way that Dominique Fishback delivers the line after the half what?
And then I'm like, oh my God, she is black.
Oh man, but it was
That's even better.
I didn't realize it was Paris Jackson until the credits came up, and I was just like, that's crazy to me because I've actually been a fan of Paris Jackson for a number of years now.
Yeah.
So when I saw her name pop, I was like, oh, that was her? Oh, that joke is even more hilarious now.
It works on layers. And then circle back to Siri, who was Halsey.
Which hurt my soul because I love Halsey.
I know, but it's just like, and the context of her doing that is just like, oh my God, Dre is insane.
Dre is absolutely insane. That girl needs help. The guest star appearances on the show are pretty immaculate.
They're so good. They lined
Billie
up.
Eilish is a better actress than I ever would have imagined.
We have no way of knowing.
She's giving a Get Out style performance in that episode.
Wow.
She's so talented because she makes really good music. And I was just thinking, like, she seems really cool. And it's funny because when we did our Teen Titans fan cast,
yeah,
I was like, she could probably play Raven. She gets into like the dark and spooky vibe sometimes.
No, let her play Raven.
But at that point, I didn't know if she could act or not.
Nobody did.
So then I saw this and I was like, dang, I should have picked her for Raven.
Let her do it.
She's so good.
Wow.
The scene, the what's your name sequence between her and Dre.
Every time she snaps, it's just so Get Out. But also, like, the scariest part about it is that it's very Get Out like, but also she's telling the truth. And I'm like, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
When you can do something that is still honest, but the way that you're going about it is the wrong way of going about it.
Everything about that sequence is so good. Like Dominique's acting, Billy's acting, the way that Dominique over the course of the sequence starts to get more and more like upset. You can see it. And Billy's character, Ava is her name. There's something about her that's just spooky beside the fact that it's Billie Eilish because she knows what questions to ask already.
Yes.
And I don't know why. There's something about that whole character and that whole vibe that's just off.
It is off-putting.
a lot of people after episode 6 started to think that this is all based on a true story.
I started questioning it for a second.
We all did.
I was like, what?
Because episode 6 is the true crime story, and it gets real meta at the end of the episode. I was thinking, wait, did this happen? Because the show takes from things that really do happen.
Oh, yeah.
The beginning of every episode says this is not a work of fiction. And then my favorite thing is it says any similarities to real people or events is intentional. And that's the opposite of what you usually get. It's like, oh, it's coincidental. Even though we know you're lying. Like Law & Order SVU, you made an episode about Chris Brown and Rihanna and then said, oh, that everything is coincidental. Like, bro, you made an episode about a dude who beats up
this show is like, no, we are intentionally. When they did the episode where Nyjah gets bitten on the face, that was...
I forgot about that in real life.
Until they brought it back on that episode. And I was like, that is a thing that happened.
So I started going rabbit holes.
Wait, somebody bit Beyonce?
Allegedly, Sanaa Lathan bit Beyonce.
What?
Wait, hold on. You guys didn't hear about this when it happened?
Oh, wait. I think I did know about that.
Yes.
I think I heard about people on Twitter who bit Beyonce. Oh my God. We'll find you.
Yeah.
Allegedly, Sanaa Lathan bit Beyonce. She says it wasn't her. Tiffany Haddish says it was her. It's a mess.
But yeah, no, when they did that, I was like, stop playing. Y'all play too much.
They did everything. They did the elevator.
Elevator, I was like, yeah, of course you did the elevator. The bite caught me off guard because I had completely forgotten that was a thing that happened until I saw it in the episode. And then I was like,
elevator, surprise album, the picture of Beyonce and Jay-Z.
At the Louvre.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they did all that?
They did everything.
Wow.
Yo, they weren't.
No, I can't watch this show. I love Beyonce, but I can't watch
There are actually people on Twitter who are upset at the amount of stuff that they took from Beyonce's life and put on the show.
I can't believe
And I'm just
Beyonce
like, I think you guys are kind of proving their point.
Speaking of people being upset on Twitter, and this is just a funny thing.
I'm scared.
Niggas, y'all need to relax about Chloe Bailey, fam. Damson Idris and Chloe Bailey, 2 minutes into episode 1, have a sex scene.
Ooh, Damson Idris is in this?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Chloe Bailey's boyfriend, Khalid. You would have thought that everyone on Twitter got simultaneously cheated on by the way they're talking about Chloe Bailey. It's a mixture of Damson Idris is living my dream because he's having sex with Chloe Bailey on camera and then Lori Harvey off camera.
It's a lot.
And then the opposite side of that for the people who thirst over Damson Idris, it's just so much. And then some people, for some reason, who I think already had an issue with Chloe Bailey, they're like slut-shaming her for a sex scene in a TV show.
That's
which
stupid.
Yes, I've seen that.
Levels of stupid.
Work.
I don't know.
Stupid as hell.
It's like, this isn't...
Stop it.
She acting, y'all.
That makes
She's
me
acting.
so
And
angry.
even if it was a legitimate sex tape that got out, that's her business.
Yeah.
But like, just the level of... People are
Leave
stupid.
that girl alone.
But
Also, it's her first ever sex scene. Leave her alone.
Right? Wild that she's on the show because she's like one of her mentors is Beyonce.
That's the other. I was saying that earlier because about people kind of upset on Beyonce's behalf about this show.
And they don't do anything to vilify the character Nyjah.
Oh no! This is all fan speculation.
Even if this was literally Beyonce, they don't say anything bad about her.
Exactly.
And that's one thing I've been thinking about is even the idea of like stan culture and toxic fan bases. This is more about Dre personally.
Yes.
Than the fact that she's a part of the swarm, as they call it. This is more, no, she's insane and she's a killer. This isn't like her being obsessed with this singer isn't the worst thing about her, isn't the reason that
she's doing everything.
I think there is a commentary on both ends of things for sure. I definitely think there's a commentary on like, hey, look how ridiculous it is that your parasocial relationship is this hardcore over somebody that you don't know. While also there being a commentary about, hey guys, get your mental health checked because things are just
to feel normal.
Just take care of your mental health.
Things are not all right.
Things are not all right.
Oof.
Even before the killing spree starts, like I said, Dre needed help, and people were not equipped or prepared enough to help her, which just kind of leads her down this road.
And it gets worse.
And it just gets worse.
Man, I think I'm realizing that I do like this show.
Oh, also shout out to Kiersey Clemens, who also did a phenomenal job in the final episode of the show. She was great.
That was great. And the final episode of the show, to bring it back to Dominique's acting, episode 1 Dre and the beginning of episode 7 Dre are completely
totally
different
people.
For me, one, testament to her acting. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, because she's the biggest F-boy I've ever seen in that final episode.
I was kind of bothered by it from like a narrative standpoint because there's been a time jump. Not a time jump, but there's been a lapse of time in between, like a couple years But I was thinking, I don't know how the Dre that we got in episode 1 would be able to pass as this version. But then by the end of the episode, I was reminded, oh no, you're still you.
Yeah.
You're still there. You didn't change completely.
It's hidden underneath all of this.
Like you are concerningly good at putting on that persona, but we still know who you are.
This show is
It's rough.
fascinating
And
on multiple levels.
one thing from a production standpoint, it's not quite part of the score, but there's a noise that they play.
Oh, the beat?
The bees?
No. I've been trying to think of how I was going to describe this, and there's no real way to describe it.
I know what noise you mean. I'm playing it in my head.
Yeah. Not quite like a string instrument,
Oh,
but
is
like
it like plucking? Like they pluck the instrument?
It's so hard. But
it's like a
certain things happen when she hears something or someone says something, and it's usually followed by the bees.
Yeah.
But it's that like, and then I was like, oh, that is very off-putting, but they're using it very well.
Oh.
Yeah, they have a lot of really good sound cues, because even the bees buzzing, I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's
no.
like two strings being plucked at the same time.
I can see
on
that.
like a violin, viola. One of
Yeah, I
those
have no
kind of
idea what we
instruments.
would call this noise, but it's a lot.
This show is a lot. Like, there are fan theories going around already that I'm like, I'm fascinated.
I'm so excited for all of the think pieces on YouTube.
I want to hear all of this, all about the show, all the spoilers, because I can't watch it. And it sounds amazing.
Oh, we'll tell you after we're done here.
Yes.
And I spend a lot of my time on YouTube watching like video essays about everything. Freaking, I'm seeing a lot about Boy Meets World lately. But like, I can't wait until everybody starts to get into Swarm so I can hear everyone talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's wild, and I have questions.
I have so many questions.
And no answers.
It's a good show. It is, yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that's Swarm.
All right.
Let's move from that
Let's end on a more
to something with happier foster children.
Woo!
Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Oh, wait, hold on. I do want to say, because we didn't really actually talk about Chloe Bailey's performance. She gives a great performance as well.
She does.
We talked about like the backlash she's getting. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
She is.
What about Damson Idris?
He's great.
Yeah.
He's really good. Yeah. And
they're both great.
To the point where I was kind of upset because I know him from Snowfall. And I was thinking, he's so good at playing a scumbag in Swarm that people who don't know him from anything else should just be like, this guy sucks. And I'm like, I know you can obviously separate it.
I don't
he's just
think
acting.
I know him from anything else.
Yeah, but I was like, no, you're too good at being a scumbag. Dial it back. People are going to hate you.
And then
now they hate him because he was busting down Chloe Bailey.
And I love Chloe Bailey outside of the show from other things that she's done, other work that she's done. I'm super excited about her album this month, but she's very good in this show. And this is like her first, I think this is like her first like really adult role.
Yeah, because she's on Grownish.
Yeah, she was on Grownish. So
younger.
And she's also just really sweet in real life. So I'm just like, yo, leave her alone, y'all.
Like people are acting this way. She's so talented.
Hallie gonna get y'all. I don't think she will, but Hallie gonna get y'all.
Her performance at the VMAs, ever since then, I've been a stan.
She's amazing. But yes, happier foster children.
Yes. Shazam. Fury of the Gods. Directed by David F. Sandberg. He made Lights Out, Annabelle Creation, and Shazam. So he scared us, and then he was like, I'll stop for a little bit.
No, he wasn't. He was
but
like,
I'm still going to scare you a little bit.
I'm going to make a superhero movie that's got a little bit of scares in him.
He knows what he likes.
And you know what?
Written
Good for him.
by Henry Gayden and Chris Morgan. Henry Gayden wrote Earth to Echo, There's Someone Inside Your House, and Shazam 1. Chris Morgan wrote Cellular, Wanted, and every Fast and Furious movie except for 1, 2, and 9.
He did indeed.
He writes a lot.
I got excited as soon as I saw that name. I think he also did Hobbs and Shaw.
Yes, he did. Stars Zachary Levi, Asher Angel, Jacqueline Grazer, Rachel Zegler, Adam Brody, Ross Butler, Megan Good, Grace Caroline Curry, Lucy Liu, Jamon Hansu, and Helen Mirren. I think, that's
it.
IMDb summary. The film continues the story of teenage Billy Batson, who upon reciting the magic word with Shazam is transformed into his adult superhero alter ego, Shazam, because calling him Captain Marvel would lead to confusion and maybe litigation.
Possibly.
Yeah. Fun time. I liked it.
I had a fun time. I've got some criticisms, but I had a fun time.
I have a lot of the same criticisms and praises that I have for the first one. To different extents. I like the first one more.
I also like the first one more.
I was going to ask.
I feel like it has some of the same strengths and weaknesses. Let's get into that. What is it?
Okay, yeah, let's get the criticisms out of the way first. I think that the first Shazam does a lot more with its emotional story beats. We don't get a moment like Billy finding out that his mom abandoned him in this movie.
Yeah.
We don't,
boy, that was rough.
Yeah, we don't really get to stop and have those internal moments. And I feel like he has imposter syndrome, which is what is mentioned at the beginning of the movie. He has imposter syndrome, and we don't really get to dive into the way that he's feeling about the imposter syndrome. We just kind of see him act on the fact that he has imposter syndrome.
Right.
There are like 3 scenes that I think might have made the movie stronger. I felt like Freddie needed to feel more like he was trying to leave the group, maybe.
Okay.
And Mary needed to be more resentful about the fact that she sacrificed going to college to stay home and help them save the world. She has feelings about that.
Yeah.
But we don't feel any sort of resentment from her about it. And I feel like the other siblings don't have those same hangups at all. They're just going with it.
Yeah.
So it's just like...
I feel like even if you just keep it to Freddie and Mary, that could still work.
Yeah.
Because...
especially because they're the older ones.
Yeah, they're the older ones. I don't need to see 5 different reasons why everybody needs to have an issue. If you make Freddie strong enough, because he is personally probably my favorite person in these movies.
And he's really
Jack
good in this
Dylan
one.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
Mary, at that age that she is not even changing into a different person anymore when she says Shazam, trying to go to college and having this back and forth with Billy.
Yeah, she's still
There's
hanging
a
out.
lot you could do with that.
She's like, they make it a point to say that she doesn't have friends. Mary is a 21-year-old woman who is hanging out with her high school and middle school siblings.
Right. And Freddie, I can't remember the term Doll Dizzy or Dame Dizzy?
Dame Dizzy.
Dame Dizzy.
Or maybe it was Doll
I
Dizzy.
think it's Doll Dizzy. Either way,
Either one, it works.
Freddie needs to calm his Doll Dizzy ass down because
It had been a day.
What's Doll Dizzy?
Doll Dizzy is a term that people used to use in like the 50s or 60s. That's basically you're girl crazy.
Oh, okay,
you're just trying to...
Got it.
Girls got you all dizzy.
Doll Dizzy.
The dolls got you dizzy. We came up with Dick Dizzy as the alternative.
Yes.
So you're welcome.
We feel no shame about that.
No, I feel pride about it. But the storyline he has with Anne.
Yes. Which they are great together, by the way.
Really good chemistry, really great scenes. I feel like I wish that maybe the story would have started with them already knowing each other.
Yeah, me too.
Because that relationship developed way too fast.
It does the thing that a lot of romances do where it's like, we've known each other a day, but I'm in love with you.
I hate that. And it's so accurate because the stuff he's doing toward the end of the movie for her is ridiculous. You met this girl twice. She's cute. She's very nice. But dude, you met her a couple times and then you found out something wild about her. But you're like, nah, that's my Ann though. It's like, nigga, if you don't. And it's funny because the reason that we know the term Doll Dizzy is because we did an episode on West Side Story. And we were looking up, I don't remember why we were looking up terms from that time, but that was the
slang that we discovered. And
yeah,
Rachel Zegler was in West Side Story.
Yeah.
And then what's her
funny because
her name? Maria?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was Dick Dizzy. That's why I came up with the term Dick Dizzy for Maria.
Well, also because we didn't like the term that they had for women who are
I don't
dizzy
remember
about
what it was.
It was bad. That's why we don't remember what it was. We were like, that's not fun.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny though. And Rachel Zegler would agree with you about the whole Maria situation.
I would hope so.
It's funny. We're having a good time. It is like it's so much spectacle, like nonstop spectacle. The monster designs are really, really cool.
There's some really cool ones.
Yeah, these are if I ever was to ride a unicorn, these are the ones I want to ride. Because wow, they're cool looking.
Taste the rainbow. What?
She doesn't even realize how funny that is.
Why did you say that?
Because unicorn. And I
Really?
think there's
That's why
a
you said
joke
that?
like that in the trailer. There's like a taste the rainbow, bitch, or motherfucker.
Is
that in the trailer?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't know
I
that was in the
don't remember
trailer.
that
I haven't
was in
seen
the
that trailer.
Oh.
So I was like, Gabby didn't see this movie.
I know.
But yes, there's a Skittles commercial in this movie. It's very cute.
I will say this about the story though. There are some like small details that they plant early on in the story that actually come to fruition later on that I thought really paid off really well. I really liked that.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, it's a lot of spectacle and I like that too. So it's definitely, it feels so much bigger than the first movie does.
Yes, which
Nice.
makes sense given what they're doing in terms of like the villains and stuff like that. But speaking of the villains, my little criticism that is the same for the first one is that this is a case of great actors playing villains that I think are less than compelling.
That was another scene that I thought would have actually added to it would be to know all of their different opinions of their father. I felt like that was missing.
Right. And we're getting ways that they are different.
Yes, they
from
have
each
a really
other.
great dynamic.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But given the story and how it ties to their father and all of that, there's a lot of potential for anything. You could do a lot more than you did.
Yeah.
And Helen Mirren got to do some of the, when she explained why she's so upset with Billy,
Yes.
I was thinking, Okay, I get that. At least you're giving me something to kind of feel for where you're coming from.
But I don't think all three of the sisters come from that same perspective, and I think it would have been very interesting to have all three of their perspectives and that clash of their perspectives, because then that could have paralleled with Billy and his siblings and the issues that they are clearly having as a team.
Because Lucy Liu is on some other stuff.
Oh, she on some chaos.
She's wilding. And you could do an interesting thing with why she's like that, what made her like that. But they're just like, nah, Lucy Liu just wilding.
And then you've got Anne, who is the youngest and, clearly has a far more optimistic opinion of the world.
Right.
And I do love that they touch on the fact that, like, Hespera clearly has, like, a favoritism for Anne. Possibly because she's the youngest.
Yeah,
but yeah,
wild.
Their dynamic is fantastic. Yeah, a very fun relationship to watch on screen. In the same way that watching the Shazamly is also very fun to watch on screen. That first hero save at the bridge,
great.
So good.
Adam Brody's fantastic.
He's so good.
So he came in with the cars and was like, I'm kidding. It's very easy. I love that because I was thinking, why are you struggling with these cars?
This movie has a lot more of the adults in it than it does the children. I will say that up front. So if you really want to see more of the kids, they are not in this movie quite as much.
Asher Angel's barely in this movie.
He is.
It's very surprising because he's the protagonist of the
He
first
wasn't
movie.
even really in the promotional materials. I don't think I really saw him.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Barely saw him in the movie.
He's barely in the movie. I think Jack Dylan Grazer is really doing most of the heavy lifting for the kids of this movie.
Yeah,
and he's fantastic.
Really good. He's so good. Fun relationships. Did not expect
the wizard and
Jaimon Hansu and Freddy buddy movie.
Oh, that's great. Wait, they brought back Jaimon Hansu?
Yes.
He's in the trailer.
Did they do it? No, I know, but like I didn't know if it was going to be like a flashback or if he was actually
told you it would be a spoiler. We're not going to do that on mic.
Magic.
Magic.
But they brought him back.
Yes. That was great. They're great together. He gets to be funnier than he was in the first one.
No, he has a lot more to do than in the first one.
First one, he was like, say my name and touch my staff. Bye, I'm dead.
Oof.
It's a fun time.
Yeah, it's just a really fun movie all the same. Like, yes, we have talked. I always get really weird when we have to like go into like criticizing a movie because it's just like, I like this movie, guys. I really do, and I'm having a lot of fun. And I don't want people to think that I don't like this movie just because I had a couple of little nitpicks. Which I feel like the criticisms that I have for this movie, those are sometimes really hard to spot until the movie's already been done or it's already been made. Like sometimes you just can't get a sense of those things until you've put it together, and then you're like, oh, this is kind of missing.
It's like, oh man, maybe we didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I definitely like the movie. I'm not going to say it's a bad movie. It's very good. If a movie does enough that I really enjoy, then the things that bother me, I can just say, yeah, whatever. It's
a solid movie. There's nothing in it that bothers me enough to be like, you shouldn't go see this movie. Like, no, if you want to go have fun for 2 hours, this is a really good movie to see.
Also, they do that thing where movies kind of try to get away with something that doesn't make sense by pointing out that it doesn't make sense. Him having the wisdom of Solomon.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that was funny.
No, he doesn't. There's no stretch of the imagination that you can use to convince me that Zachary Levi is playing a character that has the wisdom of Solomon.
But that's always been the character of Shazam, though, which is even more funny. Like,
it's interesting because, I think when they created the character, they're like, we need an S. Solomon.
Wisdom.
Because he acts like a teenager. But it was funny the way they addressed it. They're like, about that one.
Also, shout out to Grace Caroline Curry because this movie, they give her quite a lot more. Part of that is also because since they are using mostly the adults in the movie and she gets to finally play the adult version of her character, she gets to do a lot more. But I did really enjoy having her as Mary Marvel. Because of Young Justice, I want to see Mary Marvel have I think that's also why I wanted to see more resentment out of Mary. Because if I could see a dark Mary Marvel storyline, that would be a lot of fun.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Because of the way that I was like, oh, is that a thing that happens? Because now I'm looking at her like, are you gonna go bad?
Yeah, I think she would do it. But based off of how good of a performance she gave in this movie, I think that she would be able to pull it off if they ever went that route. I don't think they would. But if they ever did, she'd be really good at it. Also, the cameo that is in this movie, which I will not spoil for anybody who doesn't know about it.
That was cool.
I do appreciate that it wasn't just a cameo for cameo's sake. I do like the fact that they found a story reason to bring in that character. My brother thought that there was a better way of doing it, but but also
You're talking about somebody else.
Who did you think I was talking about?
I thought you meant like the kind of cameo that we got in Power Rangers where they get the original Power Rangers to show up on screen.
That is not. No.
Okay.
No. I'm talking about the actual cameo of the movie.
Got it.
I thought that was a really good reason to bring in that character. It made a lot of sense in my opinion. Also, one of the things that I did really like that David F. Sandberg does is he uses the perspective of the victims of all these horrible events. And he uses them very well. Like, we'll stick with like a person who is like dealing with this situation who is not one of our heroes and just watching from the average human perspective for a while. This is the first time ever in my life that I have thought a cop did not pull out his gun fast enough.
I was like, yo, where your gun at, bro?
What are you taking so long for? Pull it out. What are we doing? But yeah, they sit on the victims a lot for this movie, and I appreciate it. Getting like a human perspective of all these horrific events that are happening in the city.
David likes to
from the Philly fiascos.
The Philly fiascos. I love it.
I'm sorry, Philadelphia fiascos.
Yeah, that's what the city calls them because they mess stuff up.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I do appreciate that the mid-credit scene does give us a tease as for what the future holds for the DCU. I do feel like that mid-credit scene was definitely probably filmed rather recently. Like,
I can see that.
Probably within the time span of since James Gunn became CEO of DC.
That makes sense.
Just based on what's happening in that scene.
Yeah.
For the first time ever, it feels like Shazam is part of a wider universe.
Yeah, more than just like, oh, I know these superheroes.
Or, oh, hey, here's a Batarang.
Yeah.
And like Superman cameo at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Partially. But yeah, good times.
Yeah, it's a good time. If you want to have fun, go have fun and go watch Shazam. It's
yeah,
great.
if you like the first one, you'll probably like this one.
Yeah, it's fun. And I think it still has a lot of heart in there.
I concur.
And they are clearly having fun making this movie.
Happy for him.
Yeah, before we jump into news and trailers.
Yes. We lost Lance Reddick, y'all. Rest in peace. He was so dope.
He had so many iconic roles.
He's so dope at so many things. We're about to watch him in John Wick.
Literally next week.
Yeah.
Or well, this week.
He's in One Night in Miami, The Wire.
I've been watching him on, well, not watching him, but listening to him on The Legend of Vox Machina. He plays Commander Zavala on Destiny, which was a game that I was playing religiously for a couple of years there. That's a huge deal. The fact that his voice probably won't be there once the next game finally comes out. Like, that's, wow. He's going to be Zeus in the upcoming Percy Jackson series.
Oh, man. That fits.
It does, but it's going to be so hurtful when they have to recast him. Luckily for Percy Jackson, like, it's easy to be like, oh, we can find an excuse. Like, the gods can look like whatever they want.
Right.
But, like, man, Lance Reddick is just such a good actor. Whew, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
There was so much talent in that man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, he's in so much stuff. We'd be here all day. I was trying to list all the stuff that I've seen him in or heard him in.
Yeah.
Also, they're going to have to recast him as Thordak on The Legend of Vox Machina, and he was doing such a good job. He was so just intimidating and threatening. Like, he was the Cinder King. He was the King of the Dragons, man. It's going to be sad, dude. Also, that voice is just so powerful.
Yeah. Just iconic.
John Wick gonna hit different this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be sad for 2 hours and 50 minutes.
God. Every time I'm reminded of that time. Most movies, I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense with that movie, 2 hours and 40 minutes. You say John Wick is 2 hours and 49 minutes or something, I'm just like,
you didn't need that.
Really? Wow. But I'm hearing that it's amazing, so. Of course it is.
Especially since the first John Wick, wasn't that only like an hour and a half?
Yes, that's what I said live when we were talking about it. Remember, I was like, we went from an hour and a half to 2 hours and 49 minutes.
They get bigger in every sense of the word.
Every sense of the word. But yeah, Lance Reddick, man. Yeah. That talent is going to be missed on the screen.
Rest in peace. Prayers to the family. People who actually knew Lance Reddick. We like him as fans.
Yeah. We can't speak on him as anybody except a person who enjoys his work. But it was phenomenal work on his part.
Yeah.
All right. So, trailer tracking. What do we got?
Dave season 3. Dave is coming back.
This is for Dallas. The rest of us, I don't think, watch this show.
Dallas and
Gabby. She's behind, I think, ain't she?
I'm super behind. I'm pulling Colin.
How? Okay, did you finish season 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
She didn't watch season 2.
That's the one I haven't seen.
Which is fine. Season 1's better. He's on tour. Gabby, did you recognize the name of the tour?
Was it the Finding Love? No.
Looking for Love.
Looking for Love tour? Yeah,
yes.
We went on that tour.
We went to that tour. Gabby and I went to that tour that he's going on.
I was so close to getting pulled up on stage. And then this girl jumped in front of me.
Yeah, so fun times. I was like, hey, look at that. And Gaeta, who plays his hype man in the show, is his real hype man.
Yep.
And was on that tour. So we've seen, it's getting real meta for us.
Uh-huh. A little bit.
I saw my girl Chloe Bennett for a second, and that was good enough for me.
I forgot that she was going to be in this. I was like, I recognize. That's Chloe.
That was the only thing I wanted to see out of this trailer.
Freaking Don Cheadle's in this trailer.
Yeah.
Unexpected. I don't know why he's there, but I'm with it. But it's not like they've had more unexpected cameos. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is in season 2 for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep doing stuff with basketball players apparently.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, if you go to the movie theater, you'll probably see the Coke commercial before the trailer.
Yeah, you have to get there before the trailer, so which means being on time.
Yeah, when Maria Menounos is still doing her trivia.
Nah. We've never been that on time for a movie.
You have never been on that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm always that on time for a movie.
Yeah. I see a lot of Maria these days.
What do you call it? My partner's just like, why would we show up early when there's going to be 20 minutes of trailers? And I'm
because
like,
I don't like walking past people when something's on screen.
yeah, that too.
They're like, move. I'm trying
Although
to
this
see
last time we made it like 30 seconds before the trailer, so I was like sitting and the trailers hadn't started, and that was great.
Nice. Whatever works for you. But yeah, this trailer is just a lot of chaotic shots, and every once in a while we get a line that makes me laugh a lot.
Woo.
I'm with him every day. Oh my God, how do you resist him? Because I'm with him every day.
Yep.
I'm excited.
Anybody loses their allure.
Look at this idiot.
For 12 hours a day on a bus. And Dickie's a dumbass.
He really is in such a fun way. But yeah, I can't wait. Comes out in April. I was going to do a rewatch of season 2. Probably not going to. I don't have time.
There's so much content.
There's too much
Me and
content.
Dallas literally were talking about this the other day. We were just like, there's so much
Too much.
content and I can't keep up anymore. I'm having a hard time,
Yeah.
which is weird for me.
Yeah, because you keep up the best.
I keep up with everything really, really well, but
Yeah.
recently I just have not been able to like.
You know
I get
what it
behind
is?
on everything recently.
You know what it is the loop of Willow that you have going on.
Right.
Because
You kinda-
normally
you kinda
you
slow
don't
down.
do that.
You could have
I
watched
usually
8
don't
shows when you were watching Willow 8 times.
Yeah.
I usually don't go back to a show. And
Yeah.
Willow, I've been going back
You
to
just move on.
consistently. Listen, it's been a rough week for us Willow fans, okay?
Yeah, what a roller coaster, but we can get onto that later.
That was a 2-day roller coaster. But anyway,
But yeah,
there's still too much content.
There is, because I'm not really a binge watcher.
I
So
am.
then when I try to keep up, I end up watching Swarm at 2:00 in the morning.
Dude,
That was wild to
okay,
me that you did that.
I've watched the totality of 2 seasons of a show in the span of the last 2 days. Because I
Wow.
watched all of Shadow and Bone
Mm.
and I watched all of Swarm.
Wow.
It's a lot of content.
Only reason Shadow and Bone is not being reviewed this week is because I'm waiting for Colin to watch it. So
Yes.
I'm keeping up with a few shows and they're like new, but that's all I'm doing. It's like,
you're keeping up with like 3. Me and Dallas have a new one every single time one disappears.
yeah, I know. I'm keeping up with 3 right now. Yeah.
We made the analogy the other day that we've got like a Hydra going on where every time one of the shows disappears, 3 more show up.
Yeah.
Kill one show. It's like, ha
Another one's
New
here.
season.
You finished Poker Face. Oh no, Swarm's out.
Oh no, Shadow and Bone's out. Oh no, Imprisoned's out. Oh, it's like, guys,
Oh gosh.
I'm so tired. This is why the industry is slowing down on streaming content.
They need to.
Yeah.
But speaking of streaming content, Beef.
Yo.
Apparently it's a TV show.
I thought it was a movie.
We all thought it was a movie. We watched
Yeah.
the trailer, and then I looked it up to see if Andrew Santino is in fact in this show. He is the redhead white boy from Dave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it looked like he was.
Yeah.
There's no other redhead white boys that look like that. Like, there's like
It's very definitive.
there's 6 gingers and he's one of them.
Yes.
And he's very distinctive features.
But
But
yeah,
I'm very happy for him.
there's 10 episodes of Beef.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, one of the directors of the show is Jake Schreier, who is also the director of Thunderbolts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. This show looks like a lot. And
Yeah.
it's funny because once you found out it was a show, you were like, never
I'm
mind.
not watching this.
But I get
Yeah.
that because there are certain things that I think I would be down to see for 90 minutes to 120 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But 10 episodes of a
That's
certain
10
thing,
hours.
that feels like a lot.
Or like,
That's the thing is like I was watching this trailer and I was like, I don't understand what this is.
Mm.
I guess the premise of the show is 2 people just yelling at each other, which I guess that could be interesting.
I mean,
but
they're not just yelling at each other.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
doing a
it's
lot.
like 2 people that become mortal enemies and they're taking it too far over
Yeah, I
something.
guess,
Like
but
they're both
again,
already at a
it's kind
really
of like what Dallas said. That feels like almost like an Adam Sandler movie or something. Like you get in, do like 90 minutes to 2 hours and get out.
Mm.
yeah.
So I have to say that I disagree with this mindset.
Mindset think works.
Fine. Yes, mindset. Mostly because the way that I'm seeing it is this feels like an extremely heightened case of something that happens in everyday life.
Mm.
3 of us just finished watching a show that is an extremely heightened version of something that happens in everyday life. I'm intrigued. I will probably watch it. Like I said, there's so much content going around right now. It's just a matter of like what's going to be on at the same time. But I love Ali Wong. I think she's absolutely hilarious. Steven Yeun hasn't missed, in my opinion,
I love him. He's
far.
so good.
He's really, really good.
Yeah, I like the cast of this show. I'm always fascinated when people are able to take something, as I said, that's just average life and able to heighten it in such a way. Because I feel like I am possibly capable of doing this, but I would have to force myself to sit down and legitimately think of like a very average situation and heighten it to that point. I don't know if I could just naturally do it the way that some of these writers have been doing it, the way that you can do it with Swarm, the way that they're doing it with this. I've gotten angry while on the road before. I don't think I would ever be able to come up with a concept that's I got angry on the road and now I am in a beef war with with the person who I got into this situation with. But we do know of there have been situations where people get road rage to the point where people end up getting killed.
Yeah.
So
they made a movie about it 3 years ago with Russell Crowe. It's called Unhinged. Some lady honks at him and then he tries to kill her for the rest of the movie.
Jesus
Presumably.
Christ.
I didn't see the movie. It didn't seem like something I wanted to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're doing that.
Yeah, this seems funnier at least because it's got. Yeah. But even still, like it still feels a lot darker than what I thought this was going to be.
Yeah.
I thought, and this can be a good transition into our next trailer. I thought this was going to be something more along the lines of what Joyride is.
Fair.
This feels something that's more along the line. Beef feels more along the lines of Atlanta.
Yeah. No, it feels like Swarm.
Exactly, and Swarm felt along the lines of Atlanta, but horror.
But I'm getting much more of a dark than comedic vibe from it. The way that Swarm.
Swarm
dark.
was definitely like the way it was promoted. I didn't think it was going to be as funny as it ended up being. But with Beef as well, I do think that that'll probably also end up being the case. It probably will be a lot funnier than this
Me
trailer.
too. Because when I heard about it before seeing this trailer, one, I thought it was a movie, and two, I figured it would be just a funny movie about two people getting at each other.
Yeah, when you heighten something up that much, it feels like something that you would make into a comedy.
Looks dark and sad.
Yeah, which takes us to Joyride, which is
ridiculous.
Written by the same woman who wrote Crazy Rich Asians, which excites me. I really love Crazy Rich Asians, and so this looks like it'll be a lot of fun. I feel like there are not a lot of raunchy women's comedies, but they are starting to become a little bit more common. You know, we've got Bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids is like the go-to in everybody's mind now.
But also we've got Girls Trip, and we've got Rough Night.
Yeah.
We're getting a Girls Trip too, and now we've also got Joyride.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get a few more of those. Bottoms is coming out pretty soon. So yeah, I'm definitely going to watch this because Stephanie Hsu is in it. I don't need much more than that. Stephanie Hsu is like, has become one of those actresses that I'm like, I see your name, I'm probably going to watch it.
That's fair.
God, she's so good in Everything Everywhere All at Once that I'm just like, yeah, I'll probably watch you do just about anything. Especially just a full-on comedy, which I have not seen Miss Maisel, but it was recently recommended to me to watch for her.
Oh, I think she
doesn't come in until season 2.
Yeah. Oh, okay, season 2.
But I heard that she's also fantastic on that show.
Yeah.
Which does not surprise me.
I haven't seen her on the show, but Miss Maisel's really good.
Maybe. That might go on my watch list for eventually when I stop having so much content to watch. I haven't even finished You yet. Usually, yeah, you guys know how fast I can usually just go through a show.
Forgot about You.
I should be done with You by now, and I am not. I still have a season and a half.
I'm telling you, so is Willow rewatches the song.
Bro, it's not.
It clearly is. How many times have you seen Willow now?
I don't know. Let's move on from that.
She's like, let's not hone in on that.
Let me hyperfixate in peace.
Colin.
Me.
What do you think of Joyride?
Yeah, it's raunchy comedies are never my thing.
I can see that.
This ain't my thing.
I think they're becoming less of my thing. Sorry, continue.
No, I mean, it's okay. Like, it's not for me, and that's fine.
Yeah, I think when a lot of the raunchy comedies were coming out, I was more into that at the time. Like, when we got, like, the Superbad, The Hangover, I was, like, at the perfect time in my life to really, like, yes, let's get raunchy.
When it was a male-dominated genre, is what you're saying?
When I was 15 to 17.
Yeah, definitely specify that because I would have came at you real hard.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Is like I knew that's the thing though. It's like I knew the counter argument was in my head, and I was like, if I need to explain this, I definitely will.
And we had a Harl Ivy situation all over again.
I was like, do I need to specify 15 years ago?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Are you saying that? Are you alleging that Dallas hates women?
No,
that's obviously what we're saying.
I want to lean into the joke, but I'm not going to.
Don't lean into the joke.
Nope, don't do that.
Do it.
Don't lean
do
into
it.
it.
It'll get misconstrued.
Yeah, somebody's going to misconstrue all these jokes that we make.
And then it'll
one
go
day.
viral, and then boom, we get an audience.
Oh my gosh.
People that hate us.
Yeah.
It's like that one Tumblr post that was like an accident and they were accusing us of racism. And it's just like, obviously, this person doesn't
That was one
listen
dumb
to her.
person. Like, it wasn't a group of people.
I know.
But yeah, Joyride looks like a lot of fun, in my opinion. I also am typically not super into raunchy comedies, but there are a few that I'm like, I'm willing to give it a shot. I typically end up laughing at them anyway.
Right.
Like, these are, I feel like these are types of movies that I'm just like, would these be my first choice of movies that I would want to watch? No. But if you give me enough of something that I'm interested, then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Never would have watched 40-Year-Old Virgin had we not all watched it together at your place once.
Oh, that was amazing.
And I think even that one was one that I didn't watch it when it came out because I was a kid. But
Yeah.
like,
We were children.
My
by the time I
partner
did
had.
watch it, that makes
I
sense.
knew.
By the
Sounds
time
like
I did watch it, I had already become a fan of pretty much everyone in that movie.
Mm.
Like, oh, I love Paul Rudd. I love Seth Rogen.
Kevin Hart's in that.
Kevin Hart, best scene in the movie.
Speaking of Seth Rogen, he's a producer on this movie, which
is.
also
Yo.
has now become like a stamp of, ooh, quality. Like,
Yeah.
this
Well,
is
it's
probably going to
because-
be good.
He has such range with his producing, though. Like, he's so good. I mean, last time we talked about his producing, like,
Was Teenage
last
Mutant
episode.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, this dude
Like
has
going from, what's the Pam and Tommy to Ninja Turtles
to back to
Joyride.
It's like
Joyride. Like, I love it.
good with everything.
I also appreciate that. Like, he's putting his name on more inclusive comedy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Like,
kinda-
that's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Who does that too? But not with comedy. Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt
does
does that.
it with just producing. Anyway, I'm really excited about this. It looks really good. It looks hella silly.
This
and
looks
I
like
love,
a Gabby movie.
Yeah.
This
and I
is a
love,
Demi and Gabby movie. We'll
yes.
probably watch this.
I love a raunchy comedy, especially one helmed by women. And I love that this is Asian community
Yeah.
because it's like rare to see, like, you know, there's that sort of model minority myth. So it's fun to see it turned up on its head.
Yo, man.
Right.
Joyride and Bottoms coming for you this year, man. Coming for the
Woo-hoo.
laughs and the raunchy comedy.
I'm so excited for Bottom.
We love to see it.
I'm really glad Bottoms is going to be a comedy. I had thought it was going to be like a darker take,
No,
but I'm really glad. That
I'm hearing that is
comedy.
a straight up comedy and one of the funniest comedies out this year, if not the comedy of the year. And that Marshawn Lynch is absolutely hysterical in that movie.
Marshawn Lynch. Oh, he's such an icon.
That's the thing that makes me kind of want to see it, just because what are you doing with Marshawn in this movie?
I want to be in a movie
They
with
said in
Marshawn
an interview
Lynch.
that he did a lot of improving for this movie too.
So
Love
good. I mean,
that.
he did that improv show and he was really good in it. So they probably were like, "You could do this, Marshawn."
Dallas,
he was like, "Beast mode, let's go."
you might have to just see this one, bro.
I think I have to see it.
Especially because they said Scott Pilgrim was also an inspiration for this
nice.
film. So
I love Scott Pilgrim.
we keep
For
coming
Joyride?
for Bottoms.
Oh.
We keep coming back to Bottoms. I'm
Damn
sorry,
it.
guy.
It's okay. It's because we gotta go to Sundance Film Festival. one
Yeah,
of
that
these
was
years,
South by
guys.
Southwest,
Oh dang
which
it!
just ended.
Never mind.
News? Yeah.
News.
Yeah.
Onward.
News. Vanessa Hudgens is back for Bad Boys 4.
Woo.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Happy for her. Happy for me.
I'm happy for me too. I'm so happy that Bad Boys 4 is back on.
I know, because when it wasn't, I was like,
just-
"Mom."
Yeah, because I really like Bad Boys 3.
Yeah, it was great.
Bad Boys
It's
for
really
life.
fun.
I am
And
waiting.
she was great.
Yeah, and it also says that they're going to start filming soon. So I am waiting to see who else is coming back. Hopefully Jacob Scipio. Yep.
It seemed like he would, given
I hope so.
Yeah.
He was great. He was delightful.
what's it?
The way it ended.
The end
Yeah.
credit scene, the mid credit scene.
I was trying to remember if it was a credit scene or the end of the movie. It's a credit scene, right?
It's a
I
credit scene.
think it was a credit scene.
Okay. Yeah. So that's basically, hey, he'll be back in the next movie.
I hope so. But you know, sometimes they be doing mid credit scenes and then nothing ever gets picked back up again.
Very true. We're still waiting for that freaking caterpillar in Shazam.
Shazam.
3 maybe. But yeah. Also, I'm waiting to see if Charles Melton's gonna come back. Alexander Ludwig. I really like
Yeah,
the
the whole
ammo
team.
Yeah, I like the ammo team.
Also, really pretty, plays a cop.
Oh. Paula Nunez.
Yes. Bring her back.
I hope she's coming back. She was really good too.
She was great. But yeah, that's that. Not a lot of news about that. Just it's happening and she coming back.
And as Bad Boys fans, we're
We are here for it.
we're happy about it.
All right. Time to make some people mad. James Gunn is directing Superman Legacy.
Let's get this.
Let's get this shit. Get this shit.
This
started.
is for context, the Superman movie that he announced as part of like his first wave of whatever DC stuff that he was
Yes.
originally just writing.
He was originally only writing it, and I mean, he's probably already written at least a first draft of it. He had no interest in directing it until recently, apparently, and now we get him as the director of the film, which will be interesting. James Gunn has a style.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
And it is a style that I would not necessarily pair with Superman. So I'm intrigued as to whether or not he is going to be reining himself in for this one.
I hope so.
I think so.
I hope so.
I think so.
But that makes me more curious as to what the movie's going to be like.
Me too, because one of the things that I was thinking when James Gunn got announced to be Mr. DC,
Half of Mr. DC.
True. Is I know he has a certain style. I know he can rein himself in.
I've never seen him rein himself in.
Will he rein? Yeah. If he doesn't, then I'm worried. Because I don't want this to be just the other side of the spectrum from before, where everything had the same feel of it's very dark, it's very gloomy. And then his would be, it's very raunchy, it's very violent. Yeah. Like, I don't want this to be Peacemaker with Superman.
And he did say,
I don't think it will be.
He says that the movie is funny, but a part of me feels like it's probably not this typical James Gunn humor, just because, like, Superman movie can be funny.
I hope it is.
I hope so. I want that type of lightheartedness within a Superman movie. I don't want a Suicide Squad humor to it.
Yeah.
But
I don't want him lasering through somebody's face.
I want
which I don't think he will.
No.
I want bright Technicolor and sort of lighthearted, corny.
But the thing that gives me faith that he'll do a good job, though, is that James Gunn is such a huge comic book fan to the point of knowing all of these obscure characters that he's able to bring to life.
You're right.
That I feel like, yeah, of course he's going to be able to bring if this man can bring Starro to life and make us emotionally feel for this villain of a character, then surely he can do Superman.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel like that logic tracks, though, because with Starro, you're starting from a place of who the fuck? With Superman, you're coming in with a very firm notion of what you want it to be and what you think it should be. And so it's like he has to hew to sort of public perception in a way that he doesn't with Starro, because there is no public perception, because who?
But he can also do it with Harley Quinn. He can do it with a range of characters that we've seen. A lot of them, mind you, have been characters that none of us have ever heard of. But if he has a strong enough vision that he can make you understand the vision of these minor characters, then surely he has a strong enough vision to do it with a character that has already set a precedent of what we believe him to be. And I think his description of what his Superman movie is, and just the synopsis that they've given, which isn't a story synopsis at all. It really just feels more like a vibe and a tone. I think that says enough that he knows what he wants out of this Superman movie. And then if you go back to me and Dallas talking about the DCU slate, please check out that episode. We go into far more depth about what we're expecting from the Superman movie. The choice of imagery of using All-Star Superman, I think in and of itself tells you exactly what James Gunn wants to do with this movie. And All-Star Superman is the Superman that most people would turn to as one of the idealized versions of what they want out of Superman.
Very true. I'm with it. I'm happy.
I'm excited, and I'm not even cautiously optimistic. I'm optimistic because I choose to want to have faith that this will work out and that what we will be given will be good. I don't want to just start hating on something before we've seen anything of it.
Especially because James Gunn is a good director.
Yes.
He does understand story.
And he's a good writer.
Yeah, and he has a vast depth of comics, like you said. So I think I'll trust him with this one. I think he'll be fine.
I do think it's interesting that he changed his mind, though.
It'd be like that sometimes.
He probably started writing a movie and was like, damn, this movie's really good.
That's legit what he said. That's
Just make this.
legit. He was like, I wrote this script and realized I really want to make this and that my heart is fully into it, so now I'm going to make it.
Which is
He's
good.
like, I outdid myself and I want to do it.
Nigga, you have outdone yourself. He probably didn't say that. But yeah, just, I like that when you feel like you're doing it because your heart's really in it. This is something you really want to do. Not like, I need a bag or some other stupid reason.
Ego.
So I'm with it.
Like a lot of people are accusing him of, which is stupid. But anyway, I do like that in his tweet, he mentioned the fact that his brother reminded him that the movie's release date is their father's birthday, I believe.
Yeah, he said, dude, it's dad's birthday. That's sentimental. I love it.
They better not push that movie back.
All right. Like,
they probably
anymore.
won't.
I don't think they will. James Gunn has said that he does not want to push anything back, and he does not want to give release dates unless he's absolutely certain that they're going to be able to make that release date with an actually good movie. So
Yes.
That's a good idea. I get it.
because I'm tired of these pushbacks, bro. Stop playing with me. Don't
Right.
tell me a release date no more.
Right.
Just give me a teaser
Yeah.
when y'all are ready.
Last thing. Denzel Washington and Barry
Keoghan.
Keoghan?
I don't know how you
Barry
pronounce it.
Keoghan.
Keoghan are in talks to join the Gladiator sequel. I didn't know they were doing that. Shout out to Denzel.
Oh, you didn't know they were doing the Gladiator sequel? Oh.
I did.
Yeah, it's
one of my favorite movies.
Really?
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
Yeah, it used to be my favorite, and then I was like, I saw more movies. But yeah, it's one of my favorite.
We're learning so much about Gabby just now.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know
like
that.
high school is like my favorite movie.
I didn't watch it until I was in high school.
And one of your favorite Irishmen is in
Yeah, now.
it. Or maybe he's in talks to be in it.
Yeah, I hope he's in it. I feel like he's gonna play a villain because
I think it
he
says
has that
that
He's a villain face.
might be playing a villain.
that too. And like
got it.
he is like a general villain, like the way he stands, like
When
is
he
very
talks.
yeah. Oof.
That's
And
why
he like looks at you up through his eyes, and you're like, oh, I'm scared of you.
That's why everybody thought he was going to be a villain for Eternals.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of was.
Like,
He
depending on how you look at it.
Like the way he
wasn't.
left, the way he pieced out, like
The way he pieced out was villainous to them.
yeah, no, but like anyway. I thought he was going to be the villain. I thought, this is the guy. This is the guy that turns on them.
I think he's listed as being the villain for this movie. I don't remember. I didn't really look through that article well enough.
He gives me like Joaquin Phoenix in that movie vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Denzel, they're not disclosing anything about that at all. About his role.
Listen, I don't care who Denzel plays. I don't care what he do. I don't care if he's on screen for 2 seconds. You got to make a guarantee, and I'm happy.
You gotta make a guarantee.
He'll make a guarantee.
I think it'll be funny if they find a way to make him make a guarantee without actually saying, I guarantee it.
No, he's gonna say I guarantee
But it would be so much more fun if he just doesn't say I guarantee it, but he's still making a guarantee. Like if they find a way to do that, I would crack up
I
in the
feel
theater.
like the guarantees aren't even in his lines. I feel like that's just Denzel. Like,
I guarantee it. Right, he's just improv.
He's ad-libbing.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
I guarantee it. I like the first Gladiator. I saw it in high school. I have not seen it since.
Oh, I love it. It's iconic.
I'm sure
So
the second
good.
one will be probably great.
Yeah.
They're taking their time with this casting process, and they're casting great actors.
Paul Mescal and Ridley Scott. It's supposed to be good.
Boom,
Cool.
boom, boom. Yeah, cool.
Ooh, okay.
Gabby, Gabby brought up the Willow drama and said we'd come back to it. It's been it was a rough few days because Wednesday it was announced it was canceled.
Yes.
And then Friday we got word from the showrunner that it is not canceled. It's just not filming this year.
Okay.
So we don't know when we're getting another season, but supposedly we are.
Yay!
And that's better than it being canceled because, dear God, you would have thought that I lost somebody on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, you
I'll be
were
honest.
really upset.
If it was still canceled, after watching Swarm, I would have been worried. I was like, Demi's about to go across country asking people, what's your favorite show?
Oh my
What's
god.
your favorite TV show?
Oh,
That would be messed up saying it's Willow's not even my favorite TV show.
What?
It's not my favorite show of all time.
Yeah, she
Oh my
just watches
God.
it constantly.
You're just hyper fixating on it right now.
I need the serotonin.
Fair. Okay.
In fact, it was the first thing I watched after watching Swarm because,
my
dear
God.
God,
That makes sense.
All right.
needed
That's
something
fair.
lighter on the. I needed a
Ooh.
palate cleanser after
Yeah.
watching all of Swarm
I have to
in
watch
almost
like,
one sitting.
Yeah, I had to watch like Modern Family or Brooklyn Nine-Nine after I watched
Exactly.
Last of Us.
That's what Willow has become to me. It's the I need something to palate cleanse. Let me put that on.
Got it.
I meant to mention this earlier though, Dallas, because you were saying watching it at 2 a.m. is probably a bad idea. I do not recommend anybody binge watch this show. I watched this in almost one sitting and just
Yeah, don't do that
don't
to
do
yourself.
It's an experience.
Swarm seems like you need space between
You do.
episodes.
You need space.
Oof.
No, just rock dog that insanity. Go for it.
Me and
Power through it.
whew, boy, 7 episodes almost straight. I had to get up a couple times because I had to go pick up people and drop off people.
Ooh.
But
Mm.
yo,
Alrighty.
We did it, guys.
Woo.
we did.
Thank you,
Yes.
audience. We love
God.
you. Thank you for listening to all of that. We talked a lot.
Mhm.
Sorry, guys.
Yes, we
We
did.
had a lot to say about. Thank you, Crown Digital. Brandon and I, you put us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Jimmy, thank you for editing, putting us on YouTube, being the other person who saw Shazam.
I try.
You know, somebody's got to do it with me.
I mean, that was supposed to be the main review. So yeah.
Right?
Originally.
Thank you, Gabby, for coming through for the vibes since you don't really watch stuff
Hey,
anymore.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. You're becoming Colin. But I guess you're not because Colin watched Swarm and Last of Us. So
Woo.
thank you, Colin, for being our gaming correspondent.
I did technically watch The Last of Us.
You
a
did
little
watch part
bit.
of Last of Us. That's fair. I'll give you that. I will give
For
you
a
that.
show that she was not supposed to watch.
I'm trying to think, what is the next like video game edit? I mean Tetris, I guess.
Oh, I
They're
wanna
making
talk to
a
you about that.
Tetris movie?
Yeah, they're
Not
making
an
movies about
adaptation
everything.
of the game, but
They're just like, they're making movies about people who make everything.
Yeah.
There's a Tetris movie.
Ah,
There's a
They're making a movie
Blackberry
about-
movie.
the
Air.
black, yeah.
There's a
What
movie
is
about
happening?
shoes, Air Jordan.
Hot Cheetos.
What?
It's actually-
The Hot Cheeto movie that Eva Longoria is doing.
Which
Jesus.
apparently is not real, like based. It's not really a real story anymore. That was debunked, but they're still making it anyway.
It's already been made. I think they premiered it at South by Southwest.
Oh yeah, they did.
What a time to be alive. I love it. Audience, what do you think of Shazam? What about Last of Us? What about Swarm? Who's your favorite artist? Let us know the answer to all of these questions.
Don't answer who's your favorite artist.
Tell
Somebody might come get you.
Tell us. Is it Naja?
It is Naja.
It better be. Tell us in the comments or hit us on Twitter at y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast, Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC, or TikTok at Creative Differences Pod. We have all these social medias. They all dry. Come talk to us. If you want to help me process my feelings on Swarm, please do. I'm on Twitter and or Instagram at a king named Simba.
Hey, I'm Gabby. If you want to talk to me about not watching The Last of Us, you can find me at Stegosaurus.
That didn't even work. You watched half the show. There's a 50% chance you've seen whatever episode.
Swarm. I'm so sorry. I'm wasting precious time. If you want to talk to me about not watching Swarm, you can hit me up at Stegosaurus.
You should tell me who you think they should cast as Shadow the Hedgehog, who you think they will cast as Shadow the Hedgehog, and will he keep that thing on him? You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DuckMcGuck.
Shout out to the Questies. We made it through this week and we were victorious a little bit. If you guys want to talk to me about, oh my God, wholesome content that makes you feel good, please. I'm starting to become like Colin in that aspect. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram.
Why are you sorry to become like me? Welcome. You might have a better time.
We'll talk about this at a later date when we're not running out of time. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. Thanks again for joining us.
It's been different. Bye.
Bye.
We were watching Last of Us.
Yes.
Some of us.
Uh-huh.
Imagine this.
Yes.
Imagine.
Okay.
You have a baby. Newborn.
Yep.
Bam,
Okay.
fresh out. New baby just dropped.
Yeah.
And
I don't have to imagine
you
that.
get bit. And you
Yep.
can't nurse your baby because now your breast milk is cream of mushroom.
Right. Yo, that was impeccable.
I think we should just stop there.